Hi, Newfield artists. I hope you're all doing well, having a good day. Today we're going to practice origami, which is the art of folding paper, and also kirigami, which is the art of cutting paper. And we are going to be creating, I have a few here that I was just playing around with in different colors. I happen to have some colored paper at home, so we're going to be making these stars. And if you notice, they sort of pop up a little bit, and that's the way that we fold and cut creates this nice little pop-up feature that we have here. And you could do a number of different things with them when they're done, which I will show you. But the first thing you're going to need is just a piece of paper, and I would recommend using just plain either notebook or computer paper, like printer paper, just your standard lightweight paper here. And I'm going to just use this piece of white paper. It's not too thick. If you have construction paper, that's going to be a little bit thicker, and it's a little bit harder to work with when you are folding and doing the origami techniques. So I would just recommend using regular paper. Okay, so we're starting here with a standard piece of paper, and it is a rectangle. So we need to make this into a square, and that's standard for most all of origami projects. So I'm just holding it vertically in front of me, and I'm going to take a top corner, and I'm just going to match the top edge over to the side. So I'm going to be creating a triangle, actually a right triangle here, and really press. Every time you fold, you really want to press hard so that it remembers its place and it stays. And you're going to notice the bottom, you have this rectangular strip, and you just need to cut that off. So I'm just taking my scissors, following along that line. And I'll put that aside. Okay, so now I'm going to open it up, and I'll notice that I have a square in front of me. Okay, so now I'm just going to fold it in half, sort of like you would do if you're making a card. Fold it in half. Okay, so that's step number 2. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to turn it, and one side of the rectangle here, I'm going to be finding the center point here. So I'm going to make a little X with my folds. I notice I already have one diagonal fold going this way. I'm just going to kind of redo that. So I'm going to take the bottom corner, and I'm just going to make that same little triangle, fold it up to the top, open it up, and I'm going to repeat that going the opposite way on the same side. And press it down, and I'm going to open that up. And that step was done so that I could find this center point here. So you'll notice where those two folds have intersected, I just made a little dot there. You don't have to make the dot with the pencil, but I just like to do that so I really know where I'm going. And now we're going to focus on the other side of our paper, and I'm going to take the bottom corner, and I want to bring it right to that dot. So I'm going to bring it right over, and now I'm going to fold, just like that. And the next step is I'm going to take this part here, this little part that's open, this little flap, and I'm just going to line up this edge with this edge over here. So I'm going to fold it over, and I'm making another little triangle by doing that. Okay, and then I'm going to take this other section here, this bottom corner, and I want to match this bottom edge with this edge right here. So I'm going to fold it up, and they're meeting in the middle there, and I'm matching it up as best I can, and I'm folding. Press, press, press. Fold it down, and I have something that looks like this. And then, we're almost done actually, I'm just going to flip the whole thing over, and I'm going to just fold so that I have this top part, and when I flip it over, it's smoother there. So from there, I flipped it over and I just folded. And I'm using this as a guide right here. So just nice and clean, press it down just like that. So now we're going to use scissors, and this is the last step. It looks a little weird right now, but you just want to make sure that you don't cut off any of those nice folds you have there. So you'll notice these are all 1, 2, 3 folded parts. You don't want to mess with those too much. You don't want to get rid of them. So I notice here, I'm just going to kind of outline here so you can see this triangular shape. So I have a triangle right here, and I just want to go a little bit more of a diagonal cut. So I'm just going to start here at the bottom of my triangle, and I'm just going to bring it up more, kind of like that. Okay, so now you should have something that looks like this. So this is actually a nice example of an obtuse triangle. If you're learning about different kinds of angles and triangles in math at all, maybe 4th grade I'm thinking. So you're gonna wanna end up with an obtuse triangle. And then you're going to just simply open it up. And you've created a star with 5 points. Okay, so what I want to do now is just get the form to be a little bit more structured. And I'm just going to, each point of this star, I have 5 points. I just want to fold that crease a little bit harder there. So there's 1, moving on to the next one. And I'm just going around the whole star, and each section I just want to have them all going the same way. So I'm just folding them so that it pops up. There's number 3. I'm just going to remember its place. Just going over again, kind of like that. So now when you open it up, you have this really cool pop-up feature, and you can even kind of press it down and it'll go the other way if you wanted it to kind of curl up like that. So from here you can, it's up to you, you have some choices. If you wanted to leave it like this, you can go ahead and make some other ones. Maybe if you have colored paper, you can kind of play around with different sizes. The only thing you have to keep in mind is that you need to start with the square. And you can go as small as you want. And I made one that was pretty tiny. So I have a little variety of different colors and different sizes here. And an option for you is that you can do a little design on your star, and you can choose some different patterns. You could do some outlining. Really anything goes with this. So you can work with any materials that you have, crayons, colored pencils. I might do a little drawing nice and light with a pencil. Maybe each section will be a little bit different, and then I might add some color with crayon. That's what I'm thinking. So I might go for that, and I'll speed it up a little for you. Alright, so what I've done is I used some markers to go over my patterns, and I went over each section with a different color. I used colored pencils. You could get that same nice light effect by using crayons too. And I chose this nice bright piece of yellow paper because I think it'll really pop on that color. So if you have colored paper, go for that. And if you've colored in your star, you could always just go ahead and do this on a piece of white paper. And for this part, it would be good if you did have a bit of a thicker piece. So if you had construction paper for this, you could use that, and that would be a little bit more sturdy. But it's okay if you don't have that. I'm just using regular paper here. So you're going to need some glue, and I'm just going to, oh, I should mention, I just kind of, to make this pop up a little bit more, I went over and I just redid all of those folds to really get those creases to stay. And if you are holding it kind of like this, you can really just do each section nicely and just make sure that it's going to stay like that. And then you kind of have it popping up right in the middle there. So I'm going to use my glue on just really the points of the star. I'm going to work kind of quickly on this. So I'm just putting a dot. Hopefully this will come out. Yeah, okay. Oh, there we go. Yep, it's working. So a dot on each point, right at the end of each point. So that was 5 dots of glue, and I'm flipping it over, and I want this to be right in the middle. Maybe yours is going to be a little different on your placement. It's up to you. And I'm just gonna hold down those points, and it's going to flatten out a little bit, but you're still gonna get that pop-up look. So now that I have my star glued down to the background page, I can go ahead and add in other designs in the background on this yellow paper. And I want to make it look like it's really glowing and shining so bright. So maybe I'm going to add in some lines around. Okay, so I just went in and I added some extra lines in the background to make it really look like my star is shining and glowing so bright. And you can also put them onto white paper if you're using colored stars. So you have some options here with what materials you're working with. Whatever you have at home is going to be amazing. And the most challenging part about this was being patient, waiting for the glue to dry when you're holding it down in place. And you really do have to wait, I would say, at least 20 seconds when you're holding it down there so that it stays. And the points of the stars are actually just going to be pretty flat for the most part, because you want those glued down to your flat paper here. And of course, you don't have to glue them onto a background page. If you wanted to just make a variety of different sizes, you can just decorate them if you wanted to. So the choice is yours. But it's a really fun way to create a star using origami and kirigami cutting. So I hope you have fun with this. Be sure to take pictures and post them on the stream for us, and we'll see you later.